Hey guys, it's Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and today I'm here with my girls, Gracie and Elizabeth, and we just went to pick up our last bulk produce order of the year, and that was Concord grapes. Every year we preserve Concord grapes for our family. What do we like to make with the grapes, guys?
Pie and juice.
Juice. What else do we have? What do we have on our biscuits this morning?
Jam.
Jam and jelly. Yeah, so we have lots of plans. This year, I didn't get much. I just got 1 bushel of grapes, and so I'm going to take you along on our journey to preserve all that. So if that interests you, why don't you follow along? Okay, so we've got our bushel of beautiful grapes here. They smell so amazing. I wish you could smell this. And all I'm doing is just taking them off the stem and putting all of the squash grapes and stems in a bucket to give to our chickens, and they'll pick through and eat all of that. I just pick them off, put them in a colander, rinse them off really well, and then put them in a bowl. This is just the prep work. This is actually the hardest part of canning grapes, is just getting them prepped and getting all these little stems off, and then we'll move on to the next step. What do you think?
Those blueberries have these.
Do you know your shirt is on backwards?
My pain.
Yeah. Do you know your shirt's on backwards?
No.
Why is it on backwards?
Why you put me down?
You want down? Okay. Here, hop on my back. My hands are dirty. Whoa.
Like this, like this.
You help it.
Hey, what you doing? What you doing? Looks good.
All right, and there's my bushel of grapes, all destemmed. There's still some that I'm gonna have to go back through and kind of make sure. I can see a lot that I missed. I started getting fast toward the end and not quite as precise here with removing those. So we'll go back through before we get them in jars. But first I need to make lunch for the kids, and then we'll get back to this here in a little bit. So lunch is all done, and we're working on cleaning it up. And then David asked me if he could make biscotti, and I said, absolutely, you can make some biscotti, and I'll hold off on working on my grapes as long as you make me some pie crusts, right, buddy?
Yeah.
So while he's busy in the kitchen baking the biscotti, he's going to make me the crusts that I will use to make my grape pie here. So that is a great deal. That worked out well for me, right? So what kind of biscotti is this, buddy?
Lemon.
Lemon. Is that your favorite kind to make?
Yep.
So biscotti is definitely David's specialty. It's sort of like the thing he's most famous for around here. And so we would love to share his biscotti recipe, but David is actually working on developing a cookbook. So he will share that recipe when that cookbook comes out. What else do you think will be in your cookbook, buddy?
Cake.
Lots of cakes?
Yep.
Probably your ginger snaps. Your ginger snaps are amazing. So he's got lots of recipes. He is 12 years old, and he wants to be a baker when he grows up. And so this is what he spends a lot of time doing. And it seems like every Friday afternoon, which is what today is, he offers to make some biscotti to make my Saturday morning that much easier, so that I don't have to bake something for breakfast in the morning. So I wake up on Saturdays, we can sleep in a little bit. I'll just make some coffee and tea and scramble some eggs, and then the kids have his biscotti with it. And it's just a nice treat for Mama. I really appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks.
No, thank you. All right, David got me my pie crust made, and you can always tell I've been working with grapes because I have grapes all under my nails. So don't mind that. That's not dirt. That's grape juice. So I've got my pie crust made, and now we're working on our grape pie. If you've never had grape pie, it's amazing. This was my grandpa's favorite pie, and he would make my great-grandma make it for him every year on his birthday. Just kind of nostalgic, and I don't know. It's just amazing smelling. If you've never smelled fresh Concord grapes, it's like nothing else. So what you start with is 2 cups of the grape insides, but you're going to save your skins. So they're really easy. Let me show you this, see if I can do it one-handed. Here's a grape, and you just simply pop it like that and save your skin. Super easy. So you're gonna get 2 cups of that. Save these. We're gonna put these in a sauce pot and start cooking them down until basically all we have is juice and the seeds left behind, because remember, these are seeded grapes and we don't want that in our pie. People will be chipping their teeth. So we are going to cook it down, and then we can strain out the seeds before we move on to the next step. Once this starts simmering, I just kind of take a potato masher and help kind of smash them along. They kind of start to disintegrate and turn into the juice, and that's what we're after. So just keep mashing them until all you find are seeds left in the liquid. Okay guys, we had those all simmered down on the stove, and I used my food mill to kind of push through all the juice and the guts, and we just have the seeds left behind. If you don't have a food mill, you could just use any kind of strainer and kind of push it through with a spoon. Okay, so remember that bowl of all the skins from these grapes? We are going to take our guts and just pour them right back in. Don't mind that. That's my driveway alarm. Someone's in the driveway. Hold on. Okay, so to the skins and the guts, we're adding 1 cup of sugar. And I'm adding 1/4 cup of arrowroot powder. You could use cornstarch if you wanted to. And then I already put a teaspoon of vanilla in here and a pinch of salt. I'm going to mix this all together, and that's going to be our filling. Got it all mixed up, and we're going to pour that into our pie dish here. Looking good. So for our top crust for this pie, you could do it any way you want, but I like to make it kind of fun. So I take anything that's round. Right now I'm using one of these citrus punches. You put it in an orange, and then you can drink out of it, but it's a nice circle shape. And I just punch out little circles. You could use a bottle cap or something like that, but let me show you. I'm going to turn these little circles into grapes to decorate the top of this pie. It's not my most beautiful grape cluster I've ever put on a pie, but it'll do the trick. It kind of shows you what I'm going for. So I've got my cluster of grapes. I just cut out a couple leaves, even though that is not the shape of a grape leaf. My children don't know that. So, and then I make a little branch. And then what I'm going to do, I just cut out a bunch more little leaves, and I'm just going to kind of place them around here. And then that'll be the top of our pie. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get this in the oven. I have it preheated to 350, and we're just going to let this bake for probably 40 minutes or so. I'll let you know exactly how long it took. Okay, guys, it's getting warm in the kitchen with all this baking we're doing. But while the pie is in the oven, I'm going to show you how you can preserve these for pie filling in the future. There isn't really a good canning recipe out there for grape pie filling. I'm sure that if I thought hard enough about it, I could probably come up with something and do some rebel canning and assume that it's safe. But I don't really find the need to do that. Grape pie is more of a special treat in our house. We don't make it as often as we do things like pumpkin pie and other pie fillings that we already have canned and on the pantry shelf. This is like a special request that my child would make for a birthday. And so all I need is maybe enough grapes preserved to make a couple pies over the course of the next year. And so the best way I find to do that is just to freeze them raw. So I'll take just a plastic freezer bag, and I'll throw some handfuls of the raw washed grapes in there. And then when I'm ready to make a pie, all I have to do is thaw it out, and it's just as if they were fresh. Those skins will just slip right off, and I can fill my measuring cup with the 2 cups that I need for the pie and set those skins aside. And I can just pull out, you know, as much as I need to make the pie, and then the rest can be used to make juice or something like that. And if by chance I don't get around to making another grape pie this year, and I have these raw grapes frozen already, when I'm going through my freezer next summer and I discover these, then I can always just turn them into juice to make a new batch of jelly or juice for Jello or popsicles or something like that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill 2 freezer bags with these grapes, and those will be for pies. All right, and here's my 2-gallon bags that will be used for pie, and then that's way more than I would need for one pie, so whatever's left over will become some fresh juice for the kids on that day, or that week, I guess. All right, I'm gonna get these in the freezers and check on the pie. It's Still waiting on my pie to finish baking, but David's biscotti is done cooling, so he bakes it and then he has to slice it and then you bake it again. Looking delicious. How's it taste?
Good.
Good. Pie still bubbling. It just came out of the oven and it's smelling delicious. And we're looking forward to slicing into it. It just needs to set for a little bit. So, what do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah, you ready to eat pie?
Yeah.
All right. Is it good? What does it taste like?
Blueberries.
Blueberries? It's grape.
But it isn't blueberries.
What do you think? Is it tasty?
It tastes like blueberries.
You guys are silly.
It tastes like blueberries.
It's
It tastes
grape.
like blueberries.
It's grape pie, not blueberry pie.
It tastes like blueberries.
Alright guys, it's getting dark out, but I've got to get some juice started. So there are lots of different ways that you can grape juice. You can use a steam juicer. You can cook down your grapes into juice and do it that way. This is the way I like to do it. It's the easiest way I know of. So obviously there are other ways to do it. Can at your own risk. This is just my method. So what I like to do is raw pack. As you can see, these are just the raw washed grapes that are destemmed, and I fill my jar almost full, as you can see, not completely full, but almost full with the grapes. I like an extremely concentrated juice. This saves me jars, instead of, a lot of people will just put about this much grape in their jar and can it, and then it's the perfect constitution to just drink it straight out of the jar. I like to fill it all the way up with grapes, so it's a really strong juice, and then I will dilute it with some water after I open the jar. It's just less jars used. Oops, flies. Less jars used and less lids used when I do it this way. So some people also put sugar in their grape juice, and we prefer to have it without sugar. It's sweet enough. My kids will drink it this way, so whatever you prefer. So anyways, back to how I do it. Fill it up with grapes to about here. Next, what I'm going to do is top it off with water, just straight from the tap water, and then I'll remove all the air bubbles. I'm going to leave about an inch headspace, and then go ahead and put my lids on, and then we're going to water bath these for 20 minutes for the quarts, and it's really that easy. So simple. So here's an older jar of grape juice that I canned, and you can see when you only fill it like this full with the grapes, you can see it's kind of diluted, and you could just pop the lid off of this and drink it straight out of the jar, and it would be a really good flavor. But let me show you the difference in color. Whew, I'm gonna trip over something. See the difference in color? See how dark it is when you fill it all the way with grapes? So this is more like a grape juice concentrate that I'm making right now. Okay, so how I will use that concentrate, I just put a strainer on the top of my jug here, and I dump the whole jar in, and that will strain out all of the grapes, and those go in my compost. Then I can add a little sugar, or I could add honey, whatever I want to add. We just do it plain, fill it all the way up with water, and that'll be the perfect thickness for my kids to drink. And then we can make popsicles out of this juice. We can make Jell-O out of this juice. It's just really good. Grape juice is great for your stomach health. Just a good thing to have. So this is what I have left out of that bushel of grapes. And my plan is to make 1 or 2 more batches of juice. And then I'll make some jelly. And then whatever I have left over will end up in the freezer to use later on this winter when I have a little more energy. So if you want to see how I make my grape jelly, I'll link the video in the description that shows how I make that. I made some back in August from some frozen grapes from last year, and that whole process is in that video, so you can check that out if you want to know how I'm going to do that today and tomorrow. So, alright, it's been a really long day. I gotta finish up this canning, and then I am going to get to bed so I can get up early and do the same thing tomorrow. Finish off the rest of these grapes. So, hopefully you enjoyed seeing how I preserve my Concord grapes. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you again soon. Have a blessed week, friends. Bye.